News is breaking right now on the peninsula. That's where crews are on the scene of a deadly overnight accident.
It happened around 1:30 this morning on I-664 South near the Monitor Merrimack Bridge Tunnel. Our Kiana Patterson joins us now live. And Kiana, what do you know?
Don and Katie, there aren't many people out on the roads right now, but if you are heading this way, you'll be taking the 35th Street detour. That's after the deadly crash on I-664. Newport News Dispatch says that someone died at the scene. It happened around 1:30 this morning, and get more information on the victim. But for now, we're going to head over to Jen Lewis. She's been working on ways around this wreck. Jen?
Yes, thank you, Kiana. As you mentioned, the crash, the deadly crash, 664 southbound. It's past the 35th Street exit. So what's happening is you're being asked to detour, as she also mentioned, at 35th Street. This is the closest camera that we have is between Chestnut and 35th Street. So traveling 664 southbound, you'll be exiting at 35th Street. This is the scene of the crash, and you can see where traffic has been stopped.
A violent night on the peninsula is breaking news this morning. Newport News police are investigating 2 overnight shooting incidents, one of which is deadly. The latest happened just before midnight on Circuit Lane.
That's in the Epps section of the city, the northern end. We're told the victim in that incident died at the scene. Our Kiana Patterson is live there. And Kiana, what have you learned overnight?
Don and Katie, police are still here on Circuit Lane, and this is in the Courthouse Green apartment complex. It's just past Denby High School, and police need your help finding out what happened, and they don't have any suspects at this time. If you have any information at all, you're asked to call the crime line. In Newport News, Kiana Patterson, 10 on your side.
And Newport News police are also trying to figure out who shot a man several times overnight. It happened just before 11 on Lewis Drive. That's just off of Jefferson Avenue in the Palmer section of the city. Paramedics took the victim to the hospital, and we're still working to find out how he's doing this morning.
We'll continue to follow both of these breaking overnight stories and send you updates through our Wavy News app. It's free for all smartphones and tablets.
Our time now 4:32. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday morning. I'm Katie Collette.
And I'm Don Roberts.
I'm Lex Gray.
We continue to track Matthew's impact on eastern North Carolina.
For the very latest, let's get our updates from the crews in the field.
Let's start with Kelly Byrne. She is in Greenville.
Yeah, Angela and Ken, the wind is starting to pick up here in Greenville. Let's head over for a look closer to the coast. Zora Stevenson is now in New.
Windy here in New Bern. Let's head out to Pierce Legion, who's at Atlantic Beach. Pierce.
Yeah, things have quieted down considerably here as far as the wind the past hour in Atlantic Beach. Still plenty of power outages to take care of.
Continuing our coverage of the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. Recovery efforts continue across our state more than 2 months after the storm hit. In the days after, we saw rivers in Greenville, Kinston, and Edgecombe County crest at historic or near historic levels. Some families are still displaced as the state continues to make nearly $1.5 billion in repairs. WNCT's Jessica Joel joins us now live from one of the areas impacted to tell us more about how state lawmakers plan to take action today. Jessica.
That's right. Your lawmakers are coming together today to try to help people like those who used to live in this home.
Jen, thank you. 5:32. We're on top of developing news on the peninsula. That's where the Virginia Marine Police are racing against the clock in their search for a missing boater.
Overnight crews scoured the York River near Croker Landing, where the boat first overturned. And that is where we find 10 on your side's Kiana Patterson. And Kiana, crews are trying to find the man before storms roll in later today.
That is right, Don and Katie. They say this is still a search and rescue mission, and we just got an update from police. They say if it does start raining and it's just too heavy, and if there is lightning, they're going to have to suspend their search just because it could be too dangerous for them. Now, they do admit that the York River does have a very rough current, so they are trying to pull out all the stops to make sure that they can find this man. Right now, we're going to toss it over to Jeremy to tell them what they can expect with the storm clouds rolling in. Jeremy?
Yeah, okay, thanks, Kiana. Yeah, and so today for the boating forecast, we've got winds out of the south 10 to 15 knots. On the bay, it's 1 to 2 feet. Of course, they're on the York River. A little bit of chop on the river probably with that breeze coming in. And the water temperature, I saw Yorktown 69 degrees, and so upper 60s to around 70. That's good. At least the water temperatures have come up lately. But we do expect some rain showers to move in. So here's Future Track close in, looking at this area. We've got some temperatures in the 70s this morning. Few showers come up. There might be a break for a while, but rain is likely towards the afternoon. afternoon.
Good morning, and thank you for waking up with us this Memorial Day. I'm Don Roberts.
And I'm Jen Lewis. Today is a somber day for many in our area. People all across Hampton Roads will spend this Memorial Day at services and events honoring those military members who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Meanwhile, others will be taking advantage of the long weekend and looking to get out to our area beaches. The big question is, will the weather hold up? Meteorologist Jeremy Wheeler is here now in the Super Doppler 10 Weather Center with more on what we can expect on this Monday.
Yeah, and, you know, we're pretty lucky this morning that there's not a lot of rain. So if there's any services or events this morning for Memorial Day, they're looking pretty good. But as we go through the day, the rain chances will ramp up. By the end of the day, we're going to see some scattered to maybe even occasional showers. So let's have a look at it right now this morning. Good morning. We've got a few spotty showers down towards mainland Dare County, and that's it. The rest of the region, we're looking good.
For those who have chosen not to support me in the past, of which there were a few people, I'm reaching out to you for your guidance and your help so that we can work together and unify our great country.
Breaking overnight, business tycoon Donald Trump becomes president-elect of the United States. We're taking a look at the winners, losers, and the race that's still too close to call the morning after the 2016 election.
This is WNCT 9 on your side, Morning Edition.
And all of this rain is certainly causing problems across the east, from erosion and washouts in the Outer Banks to flooding in the cities of New Bern and Washington. Our crews are spread out over the area, working to keep an eye on the situation tonight.
This is WNCT 9 on your side, Morning Edition.
If we say the water's coming and we say do not drive through that water, we mean it. Do not go through any barricades. Take all instructions from all the authorities. Do not go through water.
It's been days since Matthew hit the east, yet the water continues to rise. It's forcing people from their homes and closing roads, schools, and businesses for the rest of the week. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maria Satira.
Good morning to everybody. Meteorologist Dante Jones. Just dramatic video coming in all week long.
Yeah, it just seems to get worse and worse.
Right.
And knowing, I mean, this is within just
hours.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's just a terrible condition. The good news is we have some rivers that have crested, so we're going to start to see some flooding waters recede a little bit here, but others hasn't crested yet, and it'll take a while. Let's get outside right now. If you're headed out the door.
Thank you, Dante. Developing overnight, the death toll from Matthew continues to rise with the floodwaters. Now, one of the latest deaths in our state happened in Wayne County. Goldsboro police say they found the 54-year-old man just before 5 last night in a wooded creek area on Wayne Memorial Drive. That's near Wayne Community College. Police say the victim was found dead inside his car. They believe he was driving in the area on Saturday when high water swept his car across the road and into a creek bed. As the floodwaters rose, the man was unable to escape and drowned. Officials across the east are hoping to prevent deaths like this from happening again as area creeks and rivers take over cities and towns. In Matthew's aftermath, many have swelled to historic or near historic levels in some spots. Now, that includes the Tar River in Greenville. That's where we find our Jessica Jewell.
We've been monitoring these conditions since Hurricane Matthew hit, and it seems to be a different story every day because these water levels just continue rising. More shelters. Of course, we're monitoring the bridge closures as well. A lot of people have been asking about those. For all the latest information, we're going to update you on air and online at WNCT.com. Live in Greenville, Jessica Jewell, 9 on your side.
Thank you, Jessica. Now, the tar isn't the only waterway creating problems in Pitt County. In Grifton, the Contentnia Creek has shut down the southbound lane of Highway 11, which connects Pitt and Lenoir County. The northbound lane remains open, so people from Kinston can evacuate. Though a lot of attention is placed on the Tar River, Commissioner Glenn Webb warns residents in the southern part of the county not to be lulled into a false sense of security.
We're talking to folks about going ahead and getting out. If they flooded during Floyd, they are probably going to flood during this event. And it's better to go ahead and do it voluntarily, but people need to be decisive and make good decisions early and go ahead and get on the move.
The Contentnia Creek feeds off the Neuse River, which will crest at near Floyd levels in Kinston on Saturday. Meanwhile, a curfew remains in effect in Pitt County until 7 this morning. Happening this morning in Pitt County, emergency management leaders will host a news conference about ongoing response efforts to flooding post-Matthew. It's happening at the Development Services Building on 5th Street starting at 9 this morning. And in Kinston, a curfew is in effect until 7 this morning. This as people prepare for the impact of possible overflow from the Neuse River. A mandatory evacuation is in effect for anyone who lives or works along the river. Community members are helping one another move belongings out of homes and up to higher ground. And how about this? Take a look at this video. It's drone footage from Goldsboro. You can see just how flooded the area is as homes there are just surrounded by water. It's all because of the Neuse River, which hit a new record in Goldsboro last night, cresting higher than it did during Hurricane Floyd. Heading northeast to Edgecombe County, the town of Princeville remains under a mandatory evacuation. This area was destroyed after Hurricane Floyd 17 years ago. And now the Tar River is dangerously close to overtaking the Princeville Bridge. Some good news, though. Officials don't believe it will rise to 37 feet, which would have made conditions much worse. Many of those who evacuated are waiting it out.
How nerve-wracking was it to have to go through this, especially if you went through Floyd 99?
Oh, the same thing, a double trouble all over again.
Officials there plan to keep the state of emergency in effect until they're confident the water won't rise anymore.
And coming up after the break, I'm going to have your first alert forecast, and we'll have a check on river levels as well. We're coming right back in a couple of minutes. Good morning to you, everybody. It's Wednesday here, middle of the week, and it's been a long weekend and a long week for just about everybody. Stay with us there.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yes, it would be.
Except they won't last that long, will they?
Well, you know.
It's October.
Exactly.
All right, well, people throughout the state are slowly but surely getting their power back.
Yeah, still over 150,000 people statewide are in the dark.
That includes just about 100,000 Duke Energy customers and 5,000 Dominion customers.
And co-ops, Maria, reporting that they're still dealing with about 45,000 outages.
All right, those numbers going down from where they were, but still spotty in a lot of areas.
Absolutely.
Hang in there if you're waiting for your power to come back on.
Yeah.
It's 6:44 coming up after the break on Morning Edition. It's a long road to recovery in South Carolina as people deal with Matthew's aftermath. Just ahead, how their situation is a lot like ours here in the East. We're back in 2 minutes. This morning, we continue our coverage of Matthew's aftermath. President Barack Obama has declared a major disaster in South Carolina after the storm hit over the weekend. The declaration provides federal aid for state and local governments responding to Matthew. Federal money is also available for projects designed to prevent the damage from future storms. Governor Nikki Haley says there are many challenges facing the community, including rising river levels. Flooding will continue in the Palmetto State over the coming days. President Obama has also addressed the flooding situation here in the East. He was in Greensboro yesterday at a campaign event for Hillary Clinton. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I want to begin by thanking everybody in North Carolina for looking out for one another these past few days. As all of you know, a lot of communities are dealing with terrible flooding. Lives have been lost. And so the entire country has been thinking about North Carolina. Thoughts and prayers are with folks who are still dealing with rivers that are overflowing, homes that are being flooded.
Now, one of those areas dealing with flooding is Bertie County. It's the second time in just 3 weeks. Over the next several days, many who were evacuated will return to their homes for the first time since Julia. A disaster loan outreach center opened yesterday next to the Department of Social Services and will offer low-interest loans to anyone who needs help with cleanup. Windsor police are also hoping to reopen the Gashai River Bridge and several other streets in town by this morning. Over in Greene County, it'll be at least another week before people can return to their flooded homes and businesses. This after the Contentnia Creek crested early yesterday, wreaking havoc on the area. People remain in the shelter at Greene Central High School. It's looking for donations, though, including food, water, and socks. If you can help, drop off these items at the Emergency Management Office or at Greene Central High School. While some rivers across the east have already crested, we're still awaiting the worst from others. That includes the Tar River. Our Jessica Jewell's been monitoring levels there since Matthew hit and joins us now with the latest. Jessica.
I'm here on the Green Street Bridge, which connects the north and south sides of the county. This is closed this morning because it's just one of many areas that first responders are concerned about with these rising river levels. County emergency management officials will keep you updated with the latest on air and online at WNCT.com. Live in Greenville, Jessica Jewell, 9 on your side.
All right, thanks, Jessica. Breaking news from the Pitt-Lenoir County line. Lenoir County Emergency Management reports Highway 11 is now closed in both directions due to flooding from the Contentnea Creek. Officials tried to hold off on doing this so people from Kinston could evacuate into Pitt County. Highway 11 is the main connector between Kinston and Greenville.
All right, that's good information. Someone on Facebook just asking me that very question. So if they didn't hear that, I'll respond back to them with that information. 78, 79 degrees. News and weather keep coming. We'll keep bringing it to you. Morning Edition rolls on after a break.
It may turn out to be just what the doctor ordered. The Pirates are struggling in a 4-game losing streak. Coming up later today, Patrick Quinn will have more on the Pirates during this off week, and I'll see you back coming up on Thursday. I'm Brian Bailey.
We continue tracking major flooding across the east in the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. Pitt County emergency management officials are preparing for the worst of the flooding to happen later this week. The most recent levels show the Tar River around 23 feet. It's expected to crest around 25 feet on Friday. And breaking news from the Pitt-Lenoir County line, flooding from the Contentnea Creek has closed both lanes of Highway 11. Emergency officials tried to keep the northbound lane open as long as possible so people could evacuate from Kinston. Now that's because of the Neuse River, which runs through Kinston. It's set to crest at near Floyd levels Saturday. A mandatory evacuation is in effect for people who live and work along the Neuse, and a curfew remains in effect until 7 this morning. In Goldsboro, the Neuse River hit a new record last night, cresting higher than it did during Hurricane Floyd. Meanwhile, a man was found dead in his car in a creek bed near Wayne Community College. Police say he was driving through Matthew Saturday when he lost control, drove into the creek, and drowned in the floodwaters. The death toll from Matthew in North Carolina alone is at least 18.
All right, temperatures in the 40s and 50s this morning, some 60s along the coast. We get up to 73 this afternoon, partly cloudy, a little breezy at times. The humidity stays low, so with lower humidity and breezes, that helps with evaporation of water. So hopefully we get some help there.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for starting your morning with us. CBS This Morning starts now.